Welcome to the DY Prods channel. I'm your guy, DY Fly. What it do? All right, so we're gonna talk about the Rams in a second, but I'm just gonna say my piece about this whole offensive coordinator, offense, and passing situation. I've had some time to think about it and digest what's really going on. And I'm some of the things I'm about to say, I'm about to speak for myself, and some of the things I'm going to try to encapsulate what the fans might be thinking, okay? But I heard what the great Seth Joyner had to say. I listened to his program, and I agree with what Seth has to say, like usually 98 to 99% of the time, okay? It's just how I've been raised to watch the game. It's just we see the game the same way, okay? However, this is where I have to disagree with Seth. And Seth, if this reaches your mobile phone or your desktop, look, man, let me just preface this by saying I don't want any smoke. All right, I just have a little disagreement. I just have my own opinion on this. I used to play Super Tech Mobile, and I used to run with the Eagles, of course. Pick you, send you on the blitz. All right, so we're right here, but I just have to disagree. We're gonna play this clip, and then I'll chime in.
We're gonna run the football. We're gonna throw it when we have the opportunity to throw it. We're gonna play great defense, and they rode it all the way to a Super Bowl 59 victory. The other thing, what are y'all complaining about? This team is a 19-1 over the last 20 football games. What other team in the National Football League can boast that? But we're concerned about style because ajbrown ain't racking up 100-yard receiving games every single week. Devontasmith is not racking up all these yards that Jalen isn't throwing for 300 yards.
All right. This is where I jump in, okay? It's not the fact that I'm not going to speak for the fans. I'm going to speak for myself right now. It's not the fact that I want to see Jalen throw it all over the yard and force passes into coverage or force passes to AJ or Devontae. It would be nice to see him throw more, but cool. If we get the win, cool. But it's the fact that the whole operation looks bad. The whole offense looks bad. Okay? And it's shocking. This is where I'm going to speak for the fans a little bit. It's kind of a shock, and we're kind of taken aback because we're just a couple of months removed from dropping 55 points in the NFC Championship game against the Redskins, and then dropping a 40 burger in the Super Bowl, the biggest game of the year. We dropped 40 points in there, or 33, I guess, if you want to be technical, whatever. You know what I mean. But we saw this offensive explosion, and we kind of expected to see it continue coming into the season. Now, in the offseason, the only personnel that changed on the offensive side was Kevin Patullo, okay? And we boasted all offseason that how we're the best organization from top to bottom. And you got to list the names because that's what we do. We act like our shit don't stink, so we got to list the names. Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni, Jalenhurts, and it trickles down to everybody else, right? We got Vic Fangio as our defensive coordinator, the defensive guru. And then Kevin Patullo, he's the new face. So yes, we're putting a lot of the blame on him because he's the only common, not denominator, but maybe numerator. I don't know. That's the person we can point to, and that's the new face. So when we see what we saw the past 2 weeks and it looks flat out bad, it's kind of like shocking. Like, why isn't this like, even if we went back to the offense that we had like during the season, last season, where we were just run heavy and we passed here and there, but the run game still looked like it had some sort of semblance of a run offense, then yeah, I think we would be cool with that. But everything looks bad. Even the tush push looks bad. Sloppy. Now we got a microscope on that. So it's not the fact that we want the passing. The whole offense looks bad, man. The whole offense looks bad. Hold on, let me finish. Let me let you finish because
at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is winning. And sometimes in the National Football League, you have to win by any means necessary. However it is that you can get the W, you want the W.
And yes, you're right. Winning is what matters, okay? We're 2-0, but we can't sit here and act like we don't see what we see. man, Philadelphia Eagles fans, they're some of the smartest fans, if not the smartest football fans in the league. Okay? We can chop it up. We can talk X's and O's, or we can keep it surface level. Okay? And, we can't act like we don't know what we're seeing. And we've watched this team grow for the past 2-3 years, and we've seen the ups and downs, and we have a good beat on our team. And this is kind of, like I said, it's kind of taking us aback that it's like, why does it look this bad? Why does it look so hard to move the ball down the field? I wanted to zoom out. I don't want to zoom in and talk about route concepts and we should run off tackle and all that. No, if you zoom in, you're going to go crazy. I wanted to zoom out and focus on everything. I heard Kevin Patullo talk all off season. I heard him talk all off season, and he talks a good game. He sounded like he knows what he's talking about, But after these past 2 games, I didn't want to hear what he had to say, because I heard him talk all off season, and don't talk calm to me. Fix the problem. All right? Fix it. So I'm thinking to myself, what is going on? Okay. And the only conclusion I can come up with is Nick and Kevin have to be just trying stuff just to create some sort of adversity. They have to be testing us. They have to be creating some sort of narrative for the next America's game after we win the Super Bowl, because we're still going to win the Super Bowl, but there has to be some sort of adversity, right? Because there's no reason for our offense to be this bad. Listen, I don't want to be the 2000 Ravens, okay? We don't have to be the 2000 Ravens when I'm sitting on the edge of my seat winning a game, 15-12. Our defense is stellar, but our offense, if you ask Ray Lewis, would you take the Eagles offense to play with your 2000 Ravens defense? He would say yes 100 times out of 100. Okay? Maybe 99 times, just because, those guys, they actually won the championship with them. But come on, let's stop. We got all the talent in the world on this team. And we don't need to be the 2000 Ravens, man. We don't need to make every game a slugfest and a edge of your seat type. We can drop 40 burgers every single week. That's what I want to do. Serve 40 burgers, okay? That's what I want to do. Serve 40 burgers. Oh, you coming to the link? Here we go. We're serving 40 burgers. We're serving 40 burgers, okay? Oh, you're staying at home? We got to fly to you. Oh, at SoFi. Oh, at Arrowhead. At Jerry's World. We're bringing 40 burgers to you. All right? Serving them. We can whoop ass all day. We don't need to have these close matchups. It's not necessary. But that's the only conclusion that I can come up with, is that Nick and Kevin are just trying stuff. They're just trying stuff just to see what works, what doesn't, or whatever. And we might have an offensive explosion against the Rams. Maybe we get back to what we know and. But yeah, man, I think it's because if we actually ran the offense that we had last year, if we didn't pass that much, but our run game was we were still a run heavy game, but the run offense was better, I think we'd be fine. And another understated thing that's going on is the offensive line hasn't played that well. They haven't played that well. I will admit that. I will say Mekhi Becton, I think we miss him. That's one of the guys that I wanted to keep, but, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But we need to figure it out without him. But, yeah, man, that's the only thing I got. Hold on. I think there's another video. Hold on. Let's play this.
The guys on the radio, they got to have something to talk about. They got to have some topics, to talk about on a daily basis. So this is what the chatter is. And they're leading the charge, and they're sucking some of you in to this nonsense. It's too early for that. Let this team figure out what their identity is going to be moving forward. You have to be happy with where the defense is going. A football team is 3 phases. And what this team does is they play complementary football. The offense has not turned the ball over one time in 2 games. The defense has had 2 turnovers, and I believe they've gotten points off of those turnovers that were pivotal in a 20-24 win and a 20-17 win. So let's stop this nonsense and enjoy the team that we have and give this coaching staff and this new OC and his quarterback a time to adapt to how teams are going to attack them.
KP's been here, though, man. KP's been here though. Like the whole point of hiring KP was to have an internal hire for continuity, so we don't have to start slow. So we could just hit the ground running and start blowing these teams out. You know, what's the point? What's the point? You know, and in fact, I was watching Any Given Sunday the other night, and you know, I came away with two things, and it made me want to back off. Well, the first thing, it made me want to back off because I saw the stress that they were going through, the coaches, the owners, and all that. I know KP, Nick, everybody's trying. Everybody's trying, man. I understand that. But at the same time, an intrusive thought came into my mind of, hey, Jalen, you might have to go steaming Willie Beeman on him. You know? Yeah. And start calling your own plays in the huddle. Yeah. Be like, hey, what's that? What's that, KP? Oh, some more bullshit. All right. Hey, dagger on 3. 1, 2, 3, dagger. You know? I'm just saying. I know he won't do it, but he might have to. But let's talk about the game. Yeah, man. That's the other thing, man. As Eagles fans, we know our team, man. We have a good beat on our team. We can't even predict these games close, or we can't even predict these games accurately because we don't know. This is shocking. You know, when we know our team, we know how good the defense is and how good the offense is, and we can predict scores like almost down to the T, within 3 or 5 points on each side. But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know what to say. We're at home. You know, there's a 45.5 game total. I guess 44.5. The spread is 3.5 in favor of us. Let's see. The cornerback for the Rams, I know he's out. Witherspoon, he's out. It looks like their linebacker is out. Jalencarter, he has a shoulder, so he's questionable. Dallas Goedert, I think he's coming back. Yeah, man. It looks like Will Shipley's coming back and Tanner McKee's coming back. Yeah, and it looks like Parkinson, their tight end, and Alvia, their guard, is coming back for this game too. So it's a big game. I know they want their get back. This is a Kingslayer game.
Kingslayer! The Kingslayer!
Cooper DeJean, the Kingslayer. Yes, he will be on Puka, and he's serving Puka patties. All right, he's serving Puka patties. Devontae might be on the outside, so Quinyon, that is your guy. All right, we're gonna have to get pressure up the middle. Matthew Stafford cannot move. Okay, so Jalen Carter, I need him to be on point. Zadarius Smith seems like he got some gas in the tank, and I want to see something from Jalen Hunt and Nolan Smith. All right, they started off. They've gotten close, but I need to see a little bit more. Jordan Davis has been phenomenal. I'm not really worried about the run game. Kyron Williams, he's solid, but he's not like he's not special. He's gonna do what he needs to do. He's gonna pick up his four yards. But he's not special. On the offensive side, man, if we can run the ball, we'll be straight. We'll be straight. 2K say the offensive line, can we get it together? If we can, then you know. But the score to this game, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe can we get the ball to AJ? Can we get the ball to Devontae? I don't know. I think we can. Maybe if Nick and KP, they stop trying stuff, then we can get the ball to these guys. So I don't know, man. Maybe 28-23. 28-23. I don't have any conviction about that, but it's still a Birds win. We're going 3-0 because it's at the Link, 1 o'clock. Yeah, man. That's all I got. I hope this is the last time I have to talk about the offensive woes. Hit the like button. It's me versus the algorithm. Go Birds. And if you don't like that, you know the deal.
Nigga, you going to get down or you going to fucking lay down.